Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. You can say it once or 100 times or more. You feel at peace inside and it'll open every door. That's the power.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, a very good evening to all our listeners. Yes, School Matters have never gone on holiday. When I walked in, Monday the text telling me, shouldn't you be up? I said, no, I got a tan from the beach. But unfortunately, or fortunately, school still goes on. Education continues. Welcome to School Matters on Radio Al-Ansar, the space where education, conversation matters. Futures are shaped and young people are reminded there's not an end of the world. The world does not end when it comes to your results, especially the grade 12 learners. So if you don't know, I'm your host, Sumaya Khan, and in studio I have Veronica Slabet, my co-host. Tonight's topic is especially close to the hearts of many learners and parents across the country right now. Our grade 12 class of 2025 Matric learners, make it, fail it, face it. Your results don't define your future. As Matric results are released, emotions run high. Excitement for some, disappointment for others, and uncertainty, for many, they are just so uncertain. Tonight, we want to send a clear and powerful message. Your marks are not your identity, and they are not the final chapter of your life story. Success comes in many forms, and there are always options, second chances, and pathways forward. Joining me again is Veronica Slabet, who will help unpack what comes next, how learners can navigate setbacks, and how parents can support without pressure or panic. If you are someone you love, if you know someone that you love or, is feeling overwhelmed right now awaiting the results, this show is for you. So stay tuned, because tonight we remind you that failure is not final and your future is still yours to shape. Yes, Veronica, how have you been?
Hi, Sumaya. Hi, listeners. Very good.
You're looking very good.
I have had the most amazing, relaxing holiday. I'm so relaxed. I have plotted around and did my human relations program, my human relations program is what I call my effort to go and visit friends that I don't see during the school term because we're so busy.
Exactly.
Haven't done much of it, but I have done some of it. And I just absolutely relaxed. I was tired at the end of last year.
But can I tell you something? You got a lovely glow on your face.
I wouldn't be surprised. I promise you. Your brother and I were on the show now the other day, and we were both talking about how exhausted we were at the end of
Well, he's getting the best of his holidays. He's actually, I think he was in Durban.
Yes.
And then he went back up and he's in Cape Town, enjoying the last week before the grind.
No, we were talking and we were saying how difficult the year was and how demanding everything is on educators, and it is. So I said to him, my goal is to relax. And I did. I made a concerted effort to really, really just...
Do you know, I was actually asking someone, when was it? Day before yesterday. While I had a very full day, we had a family get together. I think that was the last day of the Durban Summer Souk, but unfortunately I had other family commitments. And also after that, I was at the beach and I'm looking at the water and there's these waves coming and I'm looking at my nephews, I'm looking at my daughter, I'm looking at my sister-in-laws. I'm thinking, what day is it today? Is it Sunday or Monday? Yeah. And literally, I actually never knew what day it was because in my mind, I know I got School Matters. Is it tomorrow? So that's the best part of being a teacher and being on holiday. You tend to forget the days.
I think especially the bit between Christmas and New Year, that is sort of what's I think the moment New Year sort of came and went and gone and whatever it was, suddenly realized now I've got to start preparing. And I know the primary school teachers are all starting to set up.
Very short
high school
holiday.
Teachers are starting to get their stuff sorted.
Well, I went today to get my daughter's whatever odds and ends stationery, and all I know is the heat just added to it.
Yes, what a hot day. Hey, what
Terribly,
a hot
terribly
day.
hot. And, to see parents and caregivers and grandparents and aunts and uncles standing in those queues, I took out my hat to them.
All over. I mean, the queues are gems at the moment. And all these
Exactly.
school uniform places, PIP and all those
And even
places.
stationery.
Huge,
And do you
huge.
know, like one would say, why did people leave it for the last minute? But for those who don't know, there's so many individuals, parents again, caregivers and family who assist. Some of them only wait for salaries or they wait for, and it's now. And unfortunately,
Or
I know
pensions.
exactly. And when we go back to school, there'll be so many learners with no stationery, and parents will actually write to you. Now, I'm talking on the macro, the government sector. Please, miss, my child will not until February.
Yeah.
And you know what? We are quite understanding. We wait. So February will be the time when parents will be waiting for that paycheck to see to uniforms and stationery.
Yeah, because, they had to buy new school clothes. If the children
Exactly.
have grown, shoes only last maybe a year if the parent is lucky. And so they had to buy new school clothes
exactly.
and all the stationery.
Do you know when we were doing that uniform, you were with me and we were chatting to some parents. And, these are like parents who, are the normal working class. They drive, they live a nice life. But one parent told me she has 4 kids. She has to decide which kid she will buy for the beginning of the year, which kid she'll do like towards third quarter and also June, because sometimes it can goes up to like 12 or even 10,000 rand, and I believe the parent.
Well, can I tell you a story? Now, my birthday is in January. I always got school clothes. It was given. That was school clothes. All the rest of the family during the year, they got gifts and stuff.
Hey, your birthday is coming still.
It's around the corner, yeah. But that was a given. That was just my dad
that was your Christmas present.
No, my birthday gift. Christmas was small. My dad was a sole provider for the railways those days. The railways. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And we looked after my grandparents who were very elderly.
Exactly. And there
was no money.
Yeah. And when you think about it, I get so touched because when parents relate, these are not poverty stricken or really hustling parents, but when parents relate, like, it costs this, I need to decide, am I taking my family for a holiday, or we really like having a lovely feast this holiday, or are we seeing to uniforms?
And Sumaya, can I just tell you, when the children are at home, it's like they are like eating. Their eating habits are like 3-4 times what it normally is. They're always bored and they're always hungry, so I think I take my hat off to parents now with children and having to pay, especially boys. Gee whiz, boys can eat. My word, boys
out of house and home.
I promise you, I see these boys that come with ice cream containers full of bread in the morning, and that's they sometimes they start like a preschool. When I walk into the school, I say, "But isn't that lunch?" "Yes, ma'am, but now I'm hungry."
Do you know me, as you know, I'm just okay. I'm an adult with OCD. Okay, you can say that. I plan myself. So I always tell my sister and friends and stuff like that, and my sister-in-laws and all them, why don't you guys plan yourself so you make your working day easy? Like, if you're going to cook something, plan it or half do it or whatever. And they look at me and tell me, you got 1 child, you'll hardly eat. If we make it and keep it, it'll be eaten. It'll be eaten. There's no such thing as keeping food away, because like lunch is done and an hour later or 2, it's like you're eating again and they're eating again. And when they get up in the morning, they see more dishes in the sink.
Well, I sent a message on the family group and I said, who's likes cheesecake? Because I bought some cheesecake that was on special and it was in the deep freeze. Nobody answered. And I found it to be quite strange. And I'm listening, cheesecake. I thought, okay, let's go get this cheesecake out. I get there, it's gone.
And you were just waiting for it.
I was I could feel it in my mouth. I had the taste buds. Anyhow, it was gone. They'd eaten it.
Exactly.
And they knew it, so they said nothing, So I'm sure many parents can relate to
I wouldn't say many parents. I'll say most parents, because I know my parents, like after, the March holidays, the June and October, parents will actually make me laugh. And maybe you can relate to that. They said they actually, because they're working at that time, not everyone has a holiday during that time. they say they actually have to lock their freezers. So I said, but why, Mom? They'll say, because all my yamas, all my meat is fried. The entire street is sitting in my house and my groceries are gone, for that month.
Yeah.
And so many parents relate to this.
Absolutely.
So what happened to the days like us, like with cheese and peanut butter or playing outside and coming home?
Yes.
But it's a different
Just peanut
culture.
butter. I remember
it's a
peanut
different
butter
culture.
sandwiches.
And parents also say their credit cards are so high because
Loaded,
their children are ordering Uber Eats nonstop or food and everything is
it's the youth
so
of today,
convenient.
but it depends on the parent.
Well, I think being a parent today is not easy.
No, not at all. You are one.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, a long way to go.
Grade 4. So you're preparing for grade 4 at the moment?
I think like in
big tests now. There's big tests coming.
She told me when she's sick, she suffers with sinuses and stuff. I always tell her, stay absent because if you neglect it, it ends up becoming into bronchitis flu. She tells me I cannot stay. Okay, listen here, I cannot stay absent because like if I stay absent, I got like 500 days of work to catch up. Well, it's nice to have that.
Because this is the phase now where they start
that's
with
the
phase.
Well,
stuff,
I know I'm a bit of a bad parent, even though I come and preach in school matters. My thing is, I like it when kids are a bit serious and studious, so they tend to like take responsibility and slack is a little bit less on you. Maybe
no, ditto.
In that way
agree. I agree.
In that way there, and then before you know it, they're so big. Look at Locke.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's a teacher now. Come on.
Listen, so I want to, while we're on this topic now, we're talking about this topic of parents and next week. The results are coming through on Monday evening, I think it is. Monday evening. And so on Tuesday morning, first thing, I think the results will be in the newspapers. Remember that the department won, or that challenge was won. So the results will be in the newspapers. Something that I read, and I think it's very important that parents notice this, in this the South African, it was an article that I read this morning, and you got the message very early from me this morning as well, was that they said that there were some glitches.
Yeah, but it's always every year.
And so if your name does not appear in the newspaper,
you never fail.
It doesn't mean that you have failed. It
Mm-hmm.
just means that there could be a glitch. So don't go and act irresponsible and think my world has collapsed. Rather go to the school and confirm with the school before, because a lot of children go into complete depression and anxiety attacks.
Exactly.
Rather and I want to state this categorically to parents so that they are aware of this as well, that they did say that there were errors. And they must go to the school the next morning. The results are normally handed out about 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. So normally by 10 o'clock that morning, that Tuesday, the results will be at school. And then the students can get their preliminary results there. Then it takes a couple of weeks and then months, I think by March, somewhere there, April, then the actual certificate comes through, and then but the schools normally put this on the D6.
Doesn't the certificate we used to get it way earlier?
And I think now it comes anything after March. I think it's from March onwards. The results certificate you get immediately.
And isn't now we're going to be in school, and I mean like the rest of us.
Yes.
Before it was a little bit.
No. For the last couple of years, it's been, and as the schools open, so it's such pressure on the poor teachers.
Now that is why we have the show, because it doesn't determine where you're going. Because I know people who, I'm not encouraging this, but who never perform so well. But today they're like so successful, in that way. But before we continue this topic, I'm quite excited because, we did the uniform drive.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, we managed to see to over 100 families.
Fantastic.
And you were there. It was emotional because besides having a full house at GEMS, we had like another maybe 50 learners who were not there. Their parents could not make it. But the amount of gratitude and it was like, what a feeling. And I was just the mere vehicle of doing this. All of us made it happen. And it was something which we thought we could not do.
I must just say thank you to all the sponsors and everybody else, that had made it. I mean, Radio Al-Ansar and the other sponsors. It is such a great, and thank you to you. It's such a good drive that you've
Well,
driven
thank
there.
you. I mean, like, for those who don't know, we go back quite well. You always motivate me and say, no, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, but
Go
but
ahead.
that was such a nice idea,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, when I didn't phone, when you told, when you told me that we
Yeah.
were granted the what's I asked the secretary to phone the students, and the parents were like, oh,
I mean,
us really?
500 Rand is a lot of money. You can practically get
You
even
can
if
get
it's a-
one full set of uniform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The shoes are so expensive,
yeah.
you know, a nice, your bag. And it helped parents immensely, you know, to see parents cry.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
that was like, you know, it's like, it was so touching. It was so emotional.
No, it is.
And, you know, it was an absolutely hot day.
Yeah,
I was
no, it
quite surprised when I pitched up there at 8:30, thinking like no one's going to be there. And yet
No, it was full.
these principals, educators, governing body members were waiting so early with their learners. And lots of them brought their learners, like even you did,
Yeah.
because their parents could not leave work and come. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I think it's giving back, you know, and I love, and you know that, I love
Yeah.
this concept of paying forward.
Exactly.
And I think paying forward, you don't, you know, I always, when I do a favor for somebody and they want to, I don't want that. You go and help somebody else in another
Yeah.
day when they need help. So you pay
Exactly.
it forward. And that is something that I admire about you, that you do that all the time.
Oh,
You are
thank you.
always busy paying it forward to people. And that
Yeah.
is, and I mean, it takes all your energy, but you just love
I think
doing
with
this.
me, I don't know whether we're weird because you are just the same. It's just to see that, you know, helping someone in their life, putting that ease in any way, it gives you
But that's
such
why we're
immense feeling.
teachers. That's why we're teachers.
Gives you
That's why
such-
we're not rich. That's why we're not sitting in these fancy
I'm not going to
offices and-
ask you how much of home you are going to steal and take back to school, because already I told my helper that Frisco coffee, I'll put it in my school bag. I bought one today, big
Yeah.
tin. So what I'm trying to say is like, what do? We try to make it happen for
everybody else. Yeah.
everybody else. No, we'll complain and moan, educators, but you know, to help a child, we because we were children at once, and you know, to make that difference. And now, you know, I'm so excited because, like, you know, we have another studio in Pietermaritzburg,
Yes.
and we have individuals there, staff and presenters who also want to make a difference.
Fantastic.
And I was like, I will say this on air, I was like irritated and like so upset that, hey, they're doing something on such a small scale concerning uniform, because like school matters want to make it so big. And I chatted with the lady today, and Huda, a sweet young lady, and she got the mojo.
Fantastic.
She told me, you know what, Sumaya, this is what I want to do. I want, now this is in the Maritzburg area. I'm going to mention the shop on air, Save Right, partnered where they're allowing Al-Ansar to have boxes with branding to drop off your gently used school uniform, whether it's jersey,
Thrifting,
school
yeah,
shoes,
yeah.
socks, whatever it is, in that box. And that would be distributed to deserving children in the Pietermaritzburg area. Now imagine, we're not just taking this in Durban Central, we're moving all out.
Fantastic.
And this is like, wow, because like if you're going more inland, people are really battling.
Yeah, the very rural,
And
very rural.
exactly. And we might have a child or a parent where a pants or a school shoes is like, doesn't even look used. But just because it's the new year, my child or that child wants everything brand new for the new school year. And parents can afford it, they do it. So they will be like, you know, recycling it.
We ask for learners, parents in our D6 to bring old uniform back.
Exactly.
So next week when they come in to fetch their certificates, we ask parents to donate the old uniform.
Do you know,
which is always greatly appreciated.
You know, I went for my nephew, he goes to Alphala, grade 12 learners, the send-off. So I did not go there as Sumaya Khan. I went there as aunt.
Auntie.
And he told Naima, my sister, she's also a teacher, as you know, please tell her, do not come and embarrass me. But we went there. And as the grade 12 learners, the boys and girls finish write their paper, they were told to carry a pair of tackies or another pair of shoes in their bags. So the minute they left that exam venue, they walked out. There was a table with a clean packet. They took off these shoes they're wearing and put it in a packet, tied that packet and put on their tackies or their flip-flops, whatever, and walked away. So every single grade 12 learner who wrote in exams did that. I was like so amazed. It was so structured and it was done so beautifully.
A lot of schools do that as well. And what happens is the shoes are left next to the desks.
Yeah.
So the girls walk, I've seen this with the girls, where the girls then walk out on their white socks and they walk out of the school, or out of the hall of their last paper, leave the shoes. So there's these camera shots of all these shoes standing next to the desk. It is the most, I don't know, I just get like, what do you call it? Like just
it's
goosebumps, goosebumps.
And you know how we are. I say, I'm Robin Hood. I steal from the rich and give to the poor. So she has such a lovely idea, and it's falling under the Ansar education banner, School Matters. So for me, it's like, wow, we're taking education, we're uplifting, we're helping everybody. We're doing everything, outreach, education. Yeah. So I asked, Monday, do we have her online? Okay, we have Sister Huda. She does the news in Pietermaritzburg. A young somebody with so much of energy. When I chatted to her, I told her, right, you need to diarize a whole lot of drives and a whole lot of campaigns that and projects which School Matters have. So Veronica, definitely.
I'm all ears.
So definitely you and Huda, we're definitely going to do coffee and we're definitely going to start these projects together. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. We've just been skinnering about you on air with Veronica. Veronica is an educator. Let me just fill you in. Veronica is an educator at George Campbell and also a dear friend, and she also co-hosts with me. So she's also somebody who's very, very involved. So I told her, we are basically going to have your diary so full, with everything that you're doing. So I was just informing the listeners and Veronica that you have such a lovely idea of gently used uniform and school shoes, especially in the Pietermaritzburg area, which you will redistribute to deserving learners and schools. So can you tell us more about this uniform drive?
Yeah, so I think currently everybody who is, either has siblings or kids in school is currently going through the whole uniform dilemma. I know I am with my brother. So yeah, I kind of thought of, just having a drive where we collect either new or gently used uniforms as well as school shoes for the learners. And I'm so happy that we actually partnered up with Save Haifa on this project, as well as Sumaya and School Matters. So yeah, inshallah, I'm actually quite happy that, we have such a strong support system for this project that we are wanting to run.
Well, alhamdulillah, end of the day, the goal is the same, it's the same goal. So tell us, how can our listeners in the Durban area, because I know lots of people go to the Maritzburg area for entertainment and holidays and they have families there. So how can you go about if you want to give your gently used uniform, jerseys or anything, even regardless whether it's belonging to a different school branding, how can they go about doing it?
Okay, so our drive is starting from tomorrow, and it's going throughout the month of Jan. So we have 2 drop-off points. The first is at Save Haifa in Victoria Road, so it's 362 Victoria Road. The second one is our Pietermaritzburg branch, so that's 240 Osman Road. So yeah, you can just drop it off. There will be boxes, drop-off points at each venue. So yeah, I think it's quite easy, for anybody that actually has these uniforms that are available.
And generally people do get rid of it, especially if you finish school or you're leaving the primary school and going into the high school. Uniform might change and, you may not use it. And even you outgrew your old one and it's still in good condition. So they should come and drop it off in the boxes. Yeah. And this drive's going to be running. I told Huda, do not stop it, Veronica. I said her to continue it because as we know, parents are still purchasing and will get rid of the old ones. So probably Huda, maybe till March. They have till about around March, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good idea. Yeah, we can run it until March. It is starting tomorrow.
Yeah. I do suggest that you put it on your local groups, on the area groups, and say, this is what's happening and please support and so forth. I also just want to say that at my school, what happens is I have a few pants and skirts for the girls. When the boys become supermen and they tear their pants and they all come running in there by me and asking me to fix their pants. So I quite often have spare pants with me. So it isn't normally, or sometimes it's just that the pants is old. Sometimes it's nice to and some of these kids, I don't know how they do it, but they tear those pants like to smithereens. So they tear it so badly that I'm telling you, the best plastic surgeon can't fix that pants, and so the pants then, I give them another pants and I say, here's a pants, and take this one. And then I just throw the other one. I keep the old one, obviously. And I just say, this one is not to be fixed. You can't fix this one. Sorry, So it's not always just for somebody who hasn't got a pants. It's sometimes for those emergencies at school of they slipped or they fell or they did aerobics or whatever it is that they've done.
Yeah.
So well done. It's a great,
excellent,
great project that you're doing there. Well done.
And Huda, we all of us are cheering you on here in Durban. So and just for you to know, Veronica, I'm putting you under the spot. Veronica runs the Midmar Mile. That's not far
not
from.
run.
Sorry, swim. Look at me. I'm on holiday.
I used to, not anymore.
So she got contacts in PMB. So she's definitely going to tell all her families and friends and educators too. So you can probably send me the link. A poster when it's done. And we'll definitely forward it in all
on the groups and stuff. Just your local, especially your local groups. Like community groups and safety groups and stuff like that. Just say this is a community project.
And to listeners out there, there's so much of warmth, there's so much of blessing to assist and help somebody else. Why? It's not always about money. It's just acts of kindness, and this is one of it.
It's paying it forward.
So Huda, you're going to be a regular. So any parting words? Today is the 6th of January. And this was your first project and first welcome on School Matters. Inshallah, many, many more. Any parting words to the peeps out there in Maritzburg or anything?
To mention where we actually distribute them to. So we are distributing the clothing that is collected to an orphanage in Woodlands. I actually do a lot of personal work with them. And I feel like these kids are so close to my heart, which is why I thought of this project. But I'm actually really excited to work with you guys in the future. I absolutely love the show. I don't have any kids, but I do enjoy the content a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, just a question. What age group are you looking for clothes? Just so that people have an idea.
I think throughout, whatever. Look, the orphanage has from, I think the youngest is 5 and the oldest is 18. So whatever we get, we will be able to utilize.
Okay. Just so that the listeners know that.
And Huda, don't be amazed if you have, alhamdulillah, more than enough, which you would even be able to distribute it to somebody else. Because when we did couple book drives, remember Veronica?
Yes.
It was coming out of I was like, oh my gosh.
Just ask, whoever wants, come.
So you know what? She has good intentions, and so looking forward and all the best, and everything for the best in Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah, all the best.
Yeah.
And such a great idea. Well done.
When are you guys coming down?
Definitely. We'll take leave from school. Definitely. We'll ask our principal that Huda mandated us to come to Maritzburg, and it's an educational drive. So we'll make a plan. As Veronica says, Scott, don't worry, we'll make a plan.
We'll make a plan.
We'll make a plan. So Huda, assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for linking up with us.
Take care.
So thank you so much for having me on.
Okay.
You have a good evening.
Thank you. That was Huda, our newsreader from Pietermaritzburg, a young, energetic, somebody who, wants to assist and help. And I think that's the main thing where we're helping. It's not about me, it's about them. It's about, assisting. This is where we always talk about, we're looking for young leaders, we're looking for activists, we're looking for people to make a difference. We're always complaining about the country.
And the difference can be as small as whatever.
Exactly. And we don't realize forget us, we are just the vehicle of doing this, whose sawab, whose blessings from these parents, caregivers, we will receive, and our lives will be easier.
Do you know, this is not something, a friend of mine was assaulted in a home invasion. Her jaw was broken. And it's quite intense, the whole experience. And so she went into hospital, and I was one of the first ones to go see her in the hospital. And then afterwards, she now had to go, and obviously for some help, extra help. And so I took her up to Kloof, where she went to go and see a psychiatrist, and just to help her, with the anxiety and stuff that she was experiencing. And I remember with her just walking out every time, and just that, thank you. And I said, but it's fine. It's an absolute pleasure. You don't have to sometimes just give money. It's just time. If you give time and you give that smile and you give that, it's just sometimes the time that people need, or the ear. And that we don't realize that people are struggling, and we might be struggling as well, but when we look around us and we see that there's more people struggling than we are, sometimes it's with understanding that we can help.
Do you know, I'm saying this on air, I don't even know if he's listening. In today's time where everybody is territorial, everybody's about us and I, everyone's about social media, marketing themselves, it's about them. And even when they do community work, civic work, it's just about themselves. It's not about anyone else. And people do not like collaborating or networking. But everyone know him as Milo. Ismail Mohammed, he left his full-time job at a bank, and he's now with Ikra Trust. And we had him quite a few times on News in Focus, on School Matters. And his thing is collaboration. While sitting in studio, and even when I need assistance, he's constantly just forwarding me contacts. And yet one would say, how stupid are you to forward contacts? And when I tell him that, he tells me, but Sumaya, you are the same. So, they say sometimes the Almighty makes it such where we work together, where we know we are helping not just a small community or just one or two children. We're actually assisting so many. And even with bursaries, we managed to assist so many in these last few years. And when you think about it, when that child, that learner is now an educator or a professional, and they come and tell you, you made it happen. And you sit back and think like, but I never do much. And they'll tell you like, you took that time to take me in your own vehicle, to make a plan for my fees to be paid, and whatever you did. And then you say to yourself, and then they want to do something for you, and you don't want that. You say, just give me blessings.
What we do is, and what I do at my school is, also now on the holidays, I had an old boy.
Yeah.
He contacted me and he said, ma'am, I need some CVs. I want to give back to the school, because the school has given so much.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. And I wrote him a lovely little letter about how proud I was, because he was in my department, not in my subject, but in my department. And I was telling him how proud I was of him, and how thankful I am that he's come back to give back. And he was looking for CVs, which is fantastic.
When you think about it,
giving back.
The world will never have poverty or any problems if the rich people just shared some of their wealth. And when you think about it, the billions and billions and trillions of rands individuals have. But then again, we're not forcing anyone, but we're just saying everyone thinks differently, but we need to bring that human aspect back in life. And
they don't see that, because they're living in their own little world. And remember, money doesn't buy happiness.
Exactly.
It most probably to an extent buys contentment, but not happiness.
So there is hope. Veronica, many learners feel their results define their worth.
No. Never.
How do we help them understand that marks is just a measure, not an identity?
I say that over and over, and that was that I think I've said this to you on the radio so many times, that I could never go and study at university. I got the results just woke up in my Matric year and just started working so hard, got the results, but never had the money. So I went and I did a trade. And quite often, and I want to, and it's something your brother and I also discussed. It's quite often where a child puts himself or herself into a pocket, or into a little bracket, and they want to achieve this. But sometimes the marks or the finances don't allow that. And I've been there. And I always say, how do you eat a whale bite by bite? How do you start? So if you didn't get the marks that you want, maybe mom and dad is putting pressure. I've had a lot of the grade 9 parents email me as well, and they're complaining about their child not getting this and not making the maths requirement to do the maths core and blah, 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 and all those kind of things. And quite often the child has to understand that, there's leeway to grow. I can still always improve myself. And Matric is not the final destination. It's never it's the beginning of something new. And what I like about the Matric is what I say to the grade 9 parents quite often. If your child has selected a subject in grade 9, and then they decide, but I don't want to do this anymore, they can go into another field. Or when we're in a job and we suddenly realize this is not for me, and I go and I look for another job and I find something else, I make the move. And that is what we need to understand. We don't need to stagnate just because we think, I'm not good enough. And at that time when you were studying, that's the effort that you put in. Some papers are difficult, but that's life. Life is difficult. Life is not easy.
How can failure actually become a turning point rather than an end point?
Well, the fact is that you now see, okay, but now I didn't make it. And I have to try again. And even if I have to do it 2 or 3 times, I've got to do it. How many times do we not train? How many times did we not go to the gym to train?
My famous one is, I know my mother used to say this, Einstein failed.
Yes.
Class 1.
Yes. And when you're training for a marathon, you run the same road 400 times that year, and you're training for it over and over and over.
Exactly.
So what is the difference? And then you still might not make it on that day, because on that day, it depends on your body. It depends if you're getting sick. When I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, I think I told you, I got sick the morning of climbing. I climbed Mount Kenya twice. The morning this is the big thing, I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, I got flu that morning. I was as sick as a dog. And I'm thinking, this is the mountain I want to climb, and I'm as sick as a dog. These things happen.
It does. And I think the main thing is, this is actually like a life skill where you realize, how do I become successful when it comes to achieving something, anything. And for a lot of people, it's the turning point, because lots of people we know, failed Matric outright, but today they are successful business people. Today they went back and did rewrites, remarking, and they lecturers, they academics.
I've told you the story before. We've had a kid who was 21 when he finished Matric. He wanted to do his Matric. He was 21. He's down in Tote. He earns how many factories? Multimillionaire. How many factories? He was 21 when he wrote Matric. 10 out of 10 for that chap. 10 out of 10.
Do for parents out there who are more stressed and worry about reputation among their friends, among their families, among their social circles,
me so
at the
much.
family gatherings, it's going to be embarrassing when my child fails or do bad. What advice we have for the parents to take out a bit of stress? We know your child never study. We know they never listen to you. We know things could have been better. But again, we can't change what has happened.
That
what
you
advice
want the
we
best
have for them?
your child. You want the best for your child. You want your child to do better than you do. I understand. I'm a parent myself. I've got through 2 boys and my own Matric kids. I'm short of bashing their heads into the wall sometimes if they don't want to listen to me. And because I know where I want them to be, and I know what they could do if they just listen to me, but they don't. So I understand the parents' frustration. And long story short, in the end of the day, you know what? Maybe they are just not as good as what we think they are. They are our blood. We love them, and we think the sun shines on the places that the sun ain't reaching. But in the end of the day, they have their own development
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
And they might not develop as quickly as what we want them to
Exactly.
develop. And they might not be as good as what we are. Or
Mm.
later, they might even be better than we are.
Exactly.
And then it's okay. Then
Yeah.
we can brag. But while
Exactly.
it's not there, then we're annoyed with the child.
Veronica, looking at our children, right, who do not do well, how should they learn a process when we're looking at disappointment in a healthy way instead of shutting down or just giving up?
So I got a call one year from a parent. He says to me he didn't get, his child was provisionally accepted by DUT and UKZN, and then the results came out, and he phones me and he says, but my child, I didn't get any calls from thereafter, and no messages were sent from the university or from DUT. So I had to think quick, and I said to the parent, I said, okay, what's your child's maths marks? No, it was 56, something like that. And I said, what is the science marks? And it was 42. And I said to him, that's the issue, was the 40. I said, but what I do suggest is that for now, your child can, enroll or apply to rewrite the subjects. But for now, just put him in a vocational field. So it might not be exactly what you want the child to be, because maybe, as I say, the child works extremely hard, but doesn't have it in him or her to do that well.
Exactly.
And maybe it's just not meant to be.
Well, you know what? We're definitely going to continue this. And you know, the tradition goes with School Matters. We started in this little studio and we had to take it out of the studio into the conference, small little room. And then we ended up taking it to the conference hall. After the Matric results, we invite schools with top learners. We invite schools with which learners managed to do it the second time around. So we're definitely going to have where we honor the grade 12 learners. So if you're a principal, a high school educator listening right now, continue listening to School Matters, because we'll definitely tell you the date. Thank you once again, and enjoy the last bits of your holiday.
I'm going to love it. So, do we have time? I just want to give one word of advice. So parents, when your child now gets the results next week, please let them go and immediately respond to the institutions, the tertiary institutions that have given them provisional, acceptance. They must respond and say, I'm coming in or I'm not coming in. If they don't respond, their places will not be kept for them. Listeners, good luck. All the best.
Well, Veronica, it's always a pleasure, my sister, having you on air. Right, as we come to the end of today's School Matters, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our technical team, only for making the show possible. A special thank you goes to Veronica for immense support and continued, contribution, insight, experience, and encouragement to everyone, even to us educators. Your words have reminded us that education is not just straight road, but a journey with many turns and opportunities, even in our own lives as educators. To the Matric class of 2025, as you prepare to receive your results, remember, this is your future. Your future is bigger than a piece of paper, bigger than a percentage, and bigger than one moment in time. Whether you celebrate tonight or face disappointment, know that there are options, pathways, and people who believe in you. Failure is not the end. It is feedback. It is a pause, not a stop. And with the right mindset, support, and encouragement, you can still rise, rebuild, and succeed. From me, Sumaya Khan, Assalamu alaikum.
An informative Islamic global perspective.